So I just want to take a minute to go over your Norse mythology Myth Builder project instructions with you. Now that we've read Treasure of the Gods, we've met some of the characters. Some were Norse gods, some are other characters that appear in the story. We're going to move past the characters of Odin, Thor, and Loki. So how are we going to do that? I've attached a glossary with a list of characters, locations that show up in Norse mythology. I want each group to pick one of these characters. Now there's a very short description attached to each character, maybe 1 or 2 lines. And using that description and any knowledge you gain from reading the story Treasure of the Gods, I want you to create your own story about the character you choose. So it doesn't have to match the real myth in Norse mythology. This is a character from Norse mythology who you've made up a totally new story about. Along with that story, I also want a description of what you think that character would look like and how they would act. So 1 page for the story and a short description of how the character looks and acts. I also want an illustration. So you're going to draw me what you think the character looks like. It's okay if there are any artists in your group. We're not going to judge. Once the story and descriptions are done, your group's going to look up the real story of the character in Norse mythology. So you'll also have to get a good description of what the character looked like and how they really acted. So by Tuesday, you should have your own version of the character story, your own version of what the character looked like and acted like, and the version from actual Norse mythology. And you're going to present those in a very short presentation that all of your group members have to participate in. You'll present your story, your description, and then the real story and description of the character. So, just an example. Say I chose Farbati as my character. I look in the glossary, and there are exactly 3 things about Farbati. He's Loki's father, he's a giant, and he deals dangerous blows. That's not a lot to work with, but I know a little bit about Loki already. So I can say, Farbati's Loki's dad. Loki's a trickster, and he's always up to mischief. So maybe I portray Farbati as a bad influence on his son. And I write about how they didn't have the greatest relationship. I have no idea if that's the real Norse myth or not, but in my story, that's how it's going to play out. I also know Farbati's a giant. Giants tend to be really big. Loki's not really big. So what does that probably say about Loki's mom? We also know that Farbati deals dangerous blows. Now that can mean a lot of things, but someone who deals dangerous blows is probably pretty violent and likes to throw his weight around. So now I have a basis for a story, and again, it's only a 1-page story. So now I have to come up with an illustration. Now, I did not draw this. I am not talented at all. But you know what? This is pretty much what I would think Farbati would look like from that little description that we just had. He's a big, ugly son of a gun who looks really angry. He's got huge hands, and he's got a big weapon, and he looks like he's about to deal a dangerous blow to somebody. So once I've written my story, once I've drawn my own illustration, now it's time to do the actual research. If you have any questions, let me know. Pick your character, and we'll talk.